Maria Santos had been working as a housekeeper at the sprawling Austin mansion for 18 months. The 34-year-old mother of two from San Antonio took immense pride in her work, maintaining the 12,000-square-foot property with meticulous care that had earned her employer's quiet respect. She arrived every morning at 6 a.m. sharp, her cleaning supplies organized in a rolling cart she had purchased with her own money to be more efficient. The mansion was a hub of constant activity, engineers coming and going, phone calls at all hours, and frequent video conferences with teams around the world. Maria had learned to work quietly around her employer's busy schedule, especially during his frequent live streams and video calls. She knew which rooms to avoid during important meetings and had developed an almost ninja-like ability to clean around technology setups without disturbing anything. Her two children were her driving force. Sophia, 19, was a sophomore at UT Austin studying nursing, working part-time at a local clinic to help with expenses. Diego, 17, was a straight-A student at Reagan High School with dreams of becoming an aerospace engineer, dreams inspired by living in a city where rockets were built and tested. Maria worked 3 different houses to support their education, often putting in 12-hour days to ensure they could focus on their studies instead of worrying about money. On this particular Thursday afternoon in late September, Elon was hosting one of his impromptu Twitter Spaces sessions about SpaceX's latest developments. The session had started at 2 p.m. and already had over 100,000 listeners tuning in from around the world. Maria knew to be extra quiet during these sessions. They were often unplanned and could last for hours. She was in the background of his home office, a room lined with engineering books, rocket models, and multiple computer monitors. The afternoon sun was streaming through the large windows, illuminating dust particles that only she seemed to notice. She was quietly dusting the extensive bookshelves filled with aerospace texts and science fiction novels, organizing scattered papers from morning meetings, and watering the several plants that she had convinced him to let her add to brighten up the space. So, we're looking at the next Starship launch window opening up in about 3 weeks, Elon was explaining to his audience, gesturing toward a detailed chart on his wall. The weather patterns look favorable, and we've incorporated all the lessons learned from the last test flight. Maria was reaching for a high shelf to dust a model of the Falcon Heavy when her cleaning cloth caught the edge of a small succulent plant. She quickly caught it before it could fall, the pot making a slight scraping sound against the shelf. Without thinking, she instinctively apologized in Spanish, "Ay, perdón," before immediately switching to English. "Sorry, Mr. Musk, I'll be more careful. I didn't mean to interrupt." The brief interruption was barely noticeable to most listeners, but it was enough for the live chat to explode with activity. Maria continued her work, unaware that her voice had been picked up clearly by the high-quality microphones positioned around the room. Elon glanced at his second monitor displaying the chat feed, something he often did to gauge audience reaction and answer questions. His expression gradually changed from focused engagement to concerned bewilderment, then to barely contained anger as he scrolled through the flood of comments. The comments were brutal and immediate. Why does he have a Mexican maid interrupting his stream? Send her back where she came from. Probably here illegally like the rest of them. Can't even speak English properly. Learn the language. These people are taking jobs from real Americans. Fire her and hire an American. Cheap labor from south of the border. She sounds like every fast food worker. Mixed among the hatred were some defending voices, but they were quickly drowned out by a wave of increasingly vicious comments. The chat was moving so fast that individual messages were barely readable, but the overall tone was unmistakably hostile. Maria, who had moved to clean a bookshelf closer to the desk, caught glimpses of the chat on the monitor. Her face went pale as she read the hateful messages scrolling by at lightning speed. She had faced prejudice before: snide comments at grocery stores, assumptions about her education level, people speaking slowly to her despite her perfect English, but never so publicly, never in front of thousands of people, never recorded for posterity. Her hands began to shake slightly as she continued dusting, trying to make herself invisible. She considered leaving the room entirely, but didn't want to cause more disruption. This job was crucial for her family's financial stability, and she couldn't afford to lose it over something like this. Elon stopped mid-sentence about rocket engines and payload capacities. He was quiet for a long moment, his jaw visibly tightening as he continued reading the comments. The silence stretched uncomfortably as over 100,000 people waited, unsure if there was a technical issue or if he was simply collecting his thoughts. Finally, he spoke, his voice carrying an edge that his regular followers had rarely heard, the same tone he used when discussing competitors who spread misinformation about electric vehicles. "You know what? I need to address something right now," Elon said, turning slightly toward Maria, who had frozen with her cleaning cloth in hand. "The woman you're making absolutely disgusting comments about is Maria Santos. She's been keeping my home running smoothly for over a year, while I've been focused on getting humanity to Mars and accelerating the transition to sustainable energy." He stood up from his chair, his tone growing stronger and more deliberate. "Let me tell you about Maria. She's a United States citizen, born right here in Texas. She's a taxpayer who contributes more to this society than keyboard warriors hiding behind anonymous usernames. She speaks 3 languages fluently: Spanish, English, and Portuguese, which is probably 3 more than most of you pathetic individuals commenting." The chat was now moving so fast it was completely unreadable, a chaotic mix of support, continued hatred, and people asking what was happening. "She works 3 different jobs," Elon continued, his voice rising slightly, "to put her daughter through nursing school and support her son who wants to study engineering. She shows up here every single day with a work ethic that would shame most Silicon Valley executives I know." "Maria," he said, turning to her directly, "come here for a second, please." Maria looked uncertain, still holding her cleaning supplies, her face flushed with embarrassment and the attention of over 100,000 strangers. "It's okay," he assured her, his voice gentler now. "I want these people to meet you properly, to see who they're actually attacking." Hesitantly, Maria set down her cleaning supplies and stepped closer to the camera setup. Elon gestured for her to sit in the comfortable leather chair next to his desk, the same chair where engineers and executives regularly sat during important video calls. "Maria, I want you to tell them about yourself. Where are you from? Tell them about your family." Maria's voice was quiet but steady, carrying the slight accent that had triggered so much hatred moments before. "I'm from San Antonio, born at Methodist Hospital downtown. My parents, they came from Guadalajara, Mexico in the 1980s. They worked construction and cleaned offices at night to build a life here. They became American citizens before I was born." She paused, gaining confidence as she spoke. "I have 2 children. Sophia is 19. She's studying nursing at UT Austin and works at a clinic downtown helping elderly patients. Diego is 17, a senior at Regan High School. He has a 4.2 GPA and wants to study aerospace engineering. He talks about working for SpaceX someday. And you're working multiple jobs to support their education? Yes, sir. I clean 3 houses, including this one. I work about 60 hours a week. Sophia gets some financial aid, but not enough. And Diego, he's so smart, but college is expensive. I want them to have opportunities I never had. Elon turned back to the camera, his expression intense. So let me be crystal clear to everyone watching and listening. The racial garbage I'm seeing in this chat, it stops right now. Anyone continuing with that behavior can unfollow me, unsubscribe, and never tune in again. I don't want your support, I don't want your business, and frankly, I don't want to share the same planet with you. He paused, scrolling through more comments, his anger clearly building. You want to talk about real Americans? Maria is more American than any of you cowards hiding behind fake profiles. She embodies everything this country should stand for: hard work, sacrifice for family, and building a better future. The atmosphere in the room had completely shifted. Maria sat quietly, overwhelmed by the public defense, but also by the continued stream of hateful comments still appearing in the chat. You know what? Elon said suddenly, as if making a decision in real time. Maria, how much money do you need for Diego's engineering program at UT? Maria looked surprised and uncomfortable. Oh, Mr. Musk, I don't expect. It's about $80,000 for 4 years if he lives at home and commutes. Consider it done. Full scholarship, 4 years, plus living expenses so he can focus on studying instead of working. Maria's hand went to her mouth in shock. And Sophia's nursing program, how much more does she need? She has about 2 years left, maybe 40,000? Done. Both kids, full rides. The chat exploded with a different energy now. Messages of support, applause emojis, people sharing their own stories of hard-working immigrant families, and others pledging donations to various scholarship funds. Furthermore, Elon continued, clearly energized by the moment, I'm establishing the Maria Santos Foundation right now, starting with an initial commitment of $5 million. This foundation will provide scholarships for children of domestic workers, landscapers, construction workers, and other essential workers who keep our communities running while pursuing degrees in STEM fields and healthcare. Maria's eyes filled with tears. Mr. Musk, I don't know what to say. This is more than I ever dreamed possible. You don't need to say anything, Maria. This is what America should be about. Recognizing hard work, supporting families, and lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. He turned back to the camera with renewed intensity. And for those of you who think this is some kind of publicity stunt, you're wrong. Maria didn't ask for any of this. She was just doing her job, the same job she's done excellently for 18 months. The only reason we're here is because some of you revealed your true character in those comments. The live stream continued for another 30 minutes, with Elon fielding questions about the foundation and sharing more details about Maria's work ethic and character. By the time he ended the session, #MariaStrong was trending worldwide, and the foundation had already received dozens of inquiries from potential donors and scholarship applicants. The impact was immediate and far-reaching. Major news outlets picked up the story within hours. CNN, Fox News, the New York Times, and dozens of international publications ran features about the incident. The foundation's hastily created website crashed from traffic within the first day. Maria gave several interviews over the following weeks, speaking eloquently about her experience. "I never expected to be in front of so many people, especially like that. When I saw those comments, I just wanted to disappear. But I'm grateful that Mr. Musk stood up for me, and that something so positive came from something so hurtful. If this helps other families like mine, then it was all worth it." The racial commenters faced real-world consequences as internet users identified them and shared the information with their employers and communities. A restaurant manager in Ohio was fired after his comments were traced back to him. A college student in Florida was suspended pending investigation. Several others issued public apologies, though many seemed motivated more by consequences than genuine remorse. But the positive outcomes far outweighed the negative. The Maria Santos Foundation received over $15 million in additional donations within the first month. Companies reached out offering internships specifically for scholarship recipients. Several universities created partnerships to provide reduced tuition for domestic workers' children. 6 months later, Diego Santos was accepted to UT Austin's aerospace engineering program with a perfect SAT score. Sophia graduated nursing school summa cum laude and was hired full-time at Dell Children's Medical Center. Maria was able to reduce her work to just one house, the Austin Mansion, and was given a significant raise, along with the title of Household Operations Manager. The live stream clip has been viewed over 50 million times across various platforms, serving as both a sobering reminder of persistent racial judging and an inspiring example of how to combat it. It's shown in diversity training sessions at major corporations and discussed in college sociology courses. But for Maria, the most important outcome was simpler and more personal. "My children learned that day that their mother's work has dignity, that we belong here just as much as anyone else, and that there are people who will stand up for what's right when it matters most. That's worth more than any scholarship or foundation." The incident also changed how Elon conducted his public communications, with his team implementing stronger moderation tools for live chats and a zero-tolerance policy for discriminatory comments. But perhaps more importantly, it demonstrated that platforms and influence come with responsibility, and that how we respond to hatred defines not just who we are as individuals, but who we are as a society. Today, the Maria Santos Foundation has awarded over $25 million in scholarships to more than 500 students across the United States, with many graduates now working in engineering, healthcare, and other fields that are building the future Maria dreamed of for her children.